Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is David with David Trades 385. Today is Sunday, August the 25th. And the purpose of this video, which I owe a few people, this video is going to be a short one. This is to show you guys how I set up my order book in Thinkorswim, how I get into my positions fast, and also how I calculate my bracket. I prefer to use the desktop version over the web version because the desktop allows you to get into the trade with a bracket that has your, for me, 20-cent stop loss and 20-cent take profit, all calculated when it fills you, right? So the web version, it allows you to calculate your 20 cent or whatever your stop loss is going to be, but it doesn't allow you to calculate your take profit. You have to do that manually after you get into the trade. On the desktop side, you can do your take profit and your stop loss, and it calculates it for you. So that's one less thing you have to do when you get into the trade. You could just focus on whatever you focus on after you enter. For me, I focus on the order book. I don't look at my P&L and I don't look at the charts once I'm in. Um, I'm only looking at the order book to manage that trade at that point because I already have a predetermined stop loss. I have a predetermined half a profit I want to take, and then I'll have another predetermined 20 cent of profit. So it allows me also, I can move my stop to capture more profit once I'm in profit. So if I make, say my take profit is 20 cent, and I have, let's say I do 10 contracts, which is equals up to 1,000 contracts because it's times 100. Say I want to sell half of that. Right. So at 20 cent, I want to sell half of my 10 contracts, which is going to be five. I want to sell five of that at 10 cent. Right. So then when I make my 10 cent of profit, I can move my stop managing the trade to at least break even. So that protects my profit I just made. And then hopefully the other 10 cent, I can make the other half at the 20 cent mark. And I can manage moving my stop manually to capture more profit. So, with all that being said, I'm going to show you guys how I set up my order book to calculate my take profits and my stop loss. So that's, again, one less thing I have to worry about. All right, so let me share my screen. All right, you should see now the retail chart of IWM, and sometimes I flip between the VIX or I do crude oil. But I have the retail chart for crude oil, VIX, and IWM because IWM is what I trade. I also have my watch list. Where if you guys ever heard me say on the videos, I have such and such put or such and such call queued up. This is what I mean. I have all my what I plan to get into the market with in my watch list queued up, ready to go. This is where my P&L is, and I always hide it because I never look at my P&L when I trade, so everything is always hidden. And we on simulator now anyway for this video, but and sometimes I'll look at the news. I'll flip through CNBC. I'll look at I never looked at SWA, but mostly CNBC to see if anything's going on. But for the most part, in my Thinkorswim, when I actually place my orders, I'm looking at the far right, which is my order book. This is the ladder, the options ladder. I call it an order book because that's how I was taught. But this is where I focus on the most once I'm in the trade. Um, I use different charts. So I don't use retail charts, but this is where my focus is, especially when I'm getting into a trade. So to help you guys set up yours, to help your trading or your decisions a little faster without having to do anything after the fact, we're going to set up your order book. When you first get into Thinkorswim, it asks you to set up your grid. I like a three screen grid, so one, two, and three. Again, retail chart for IWM, retail chart for either crude oil, and I'll flip between crude oil and the VIX from time to time, and then my order book. This is where I put my options contract. I sync it on sync two, sync with this two as well. So my watch list is synced with my order book. So whenever I put a contract here and I press it, it'll automatically sync it. And I'm gonna show you guys to that as well. All right. So my order book, it defaults to single for template, but we're gonna change it and save it. Right now is default to single and auto send. And you definitely want that checked because if you don't have it checked, it'll ask you for confirmation. I don't care about confirmation. Once I press the button, I want to get in right away. But so here's the default single. Here is OCO. Here is a trigger with one bracket. So here's a take profit and a stop loss. Here's two brackets where it gives you two take profits and one stop loss, or two stop losses, but I use it for just one stop loss. I use, like, this example has a quantity of 10, so 5 and 5. But if the trade is going against me, I want both halves, which is total of 10, to stop at 20. And then if you want to do a three bracket where you want three take profits, that's all preference at that point. All right. So let's get set up. Here's a gear icon on the top right, which is configure button for your order book. Let's press it. And here are the items to select to go into current. These are default, the quantity with button, the template, the auto on and off. You definitely want to keep that on. These are all defaults. So on the first line, I always want to have my buy market. Like, this allows me to get into the trade right away. As soon as I press the button, I want to get into the trade at the most available price possible right at that moment. Some of you guys may be limit order traders, which is fine. You can change it to limit, and you can do it that way, and also putting in brackets. I'm just personal preference. I just like to get into the trade as soon as I press that button at whatever available price that's available at the time. So I want to move it to my first line, buy market on the first line. Second one is sell market, which I don't use, but I keep it on there. I don't ever sell the market. I always buy it. Cancel for you guys who are limit traders, limit order traders. If you put in your limit order and you change your mind and you see it's not gonna go down to the price where you feel comfortable getting into the trade, you can always cancel your limit order by just hitting the cancel button. All right, reverse, which I've used probably once. And basically what that is, if you get into a trade, say you expected the market to drop, but the market continues to go up and you in drawdown mode, you can reverse that put position. Say you got into a 201 puts and you see it's not dropping, you want to reverse it to a 201 call. That's what that's for. I've used it probably once that I can remember, but that was early trading years. And then lastly, flatten. I have used this when maybe a few times when I needed to get out of a position quickly or right away. What flatten does, it doesn't take you out of position 100%. So if you have a bracket that you have you want to get in at a certain point, and then you have a 20-cent take profit and then a 20-cent stop loss, what it would do when you hit flatten, it would cancel either your take profit first order or your stop loss order first. I can't remember which one, but then you have to hit it again to cancel the other one. But if you do flatten out, it will flatten everything and immediately take you out. I can't remember the reason. The only reason I've used this before was when I had to get out for an emergency. I was in profit. So I ended up flattening it out and just took whatever I had at the moment. All right. So those are the buttons that I have for my order book. You can see right now it's at the default, but as soon as we hit OK, it brings those buttons up. There's the first line. Here's the second line. Right. I have my buy market. I have my sell market, cancel, reverse, and flatten. All right. Next thing we do is we want to change, right? I always get into the market with a bracket. I want a predetermined stop loss and I want my predetermined take profits. And I want that The great thing about the desktop is that it would calculate that for you. So as soon as you press the button and you're in the trade, you get into the trade with whatever price is available at the time, whatever your field price is. Like say if it's 30 cent, right? So it would calculate that for you. So 20 cent from 30 is what? It's 10. So your 10 cent stop loss will show here. And then it will show you 20 cent. That 20 cent from 32, well, we say 30, I can't remember what 32, it'll be 52. And I always get in with a bracket. So default is single. We're gonna change it to a bracket. I like my preference, yours can be different. I like a bracket where there's two take profits. Again, I like to take first half at 10 cents. So I'm a 20 cent guy. First half is at 10, and then I want my second half to get that 20. And then once I get that 10 cent, I will move my stop to protect that profit I made. And this is where, again, where I manage the trade. So let's go ahead and do a bracket. We're going to stay at the quantity of 10. So you can see 5 and 5, right? I like to change it. So again, I'm a 20 cent guy. So my first target, my first half, I want to be 10 cent. And as soon as we change that, you're going to see a button here to save it. And we can save it to whatever, whatever name you want to make it as. All right. And then I want my stop to always be that 20 cent or whatever you choose it to be. All right. So the second bracket or the second part of this order is I want my second half to go to 20 cent, take profit at 20 cent. Oh, that's 20, not $20, 20 cent, which times 100 is $20. All right. And then I want both of them, again, if they go against me, I want both halves to take me out at my 20 cent predetermined stop. All right. So now we have it all set. We have our buttons, the top line, buy, order, sell, market, buy, market, sell, market, cancel, reverse, and flatten. We have our quantity, we have our predetermined buttons here, pre-selected buttons, or you can manually change it by just clicking it and 10. Okay. Then we change the template to a two bracket. Again, if you want to do a three, that's up to you. But I like to have two separate take profits. So when I do make my 10 cent, I can manually move my stop to protect that profit and to let the other half run if I choose. So as you can see, now that we have everything set, we can save it. But I also wanted to point out this too. Let me hide that button for a second. Now that we have our templates for brackets, if I was to say, since this is let's move this up so we can see it. Since this 32 is highlighted, let's just pretend that we got into the trade, we were filled at 32 cent, which is times $132. If I move over to buy the market at 10 10 contracts, you can see how it's laid out now. Right now, we have our bracket. If you look at the bottom right, you can see there is a 20 cent trigger stop. So that's our 20 cent stop. Right. If the trade goes against us, we want both halves. In this example, we have 10. So we want the 5 and the 5 to all get us out at our 20 cent stop loss. So if we were pretending that we got in at 32 cent, 20 cent below that is 12. So everything is out at 12. But if you look at the top right of this ladder, you can see we have our take profits already calculated for us, right? So you can see if we got in at 32 cent, our first take profit is at 42 cent, and then our next is at 52, right? 10 cent above our entry, and then 20 cent. So once we get into the trade, let's pretend like price went all the way up from 32 to 42. That's our half. You'll see that disappear, but then you'll see the 20 cent is still there, and our stop is still there. Then we can move, it will change from 20 to 10 because you would take profit at 10. Then you can manually move that up to your 32 or maybe even 34 to capture commissions. right? Because you got to pay commission for options. Maybe you want to have the commissions covered, so you can move it up from which I something I do. Say I got in at 32 and I get my first half, then I will move it to 34. That covers my commissions. You can physically move that button up to 34. And then if you want to, as it gets close to your 52, 20-cent stop loss, you can move that trigger, which is your stop. You can keep moving and to capture more profit. Say you want to say if it get to 50, right? It's not 2 cents away from your 20. And you want, all right, if it don't get there, I'm gonna move it to 42. So then I can capture even more profit on my second half. That's up to you. I personally move it to capture commission, and then if I'm in the mood to let things run, then I'll lock in by moving it up more. All right. So that is how you set up your bracket. Don't forget to save it. You can name it whatever you want. You can do David 2 bracket, which is because I'm David 2, or whatever the case may be. Save it, and it would always have whatever you saved it as. So all you don't have to do is like go from single, just click it to your save, and it automatically do it for you. All right. All right. Last part of this video is how I add um, my options to my order book, right? Because it automatically does it because I have these two linked, right? Two and two, yellow, two and two. Um, let's see. So this is the options chain here. Make it a little small so you can see all the things. So here's the options. Let's say we are coming into tomorrow, the 26th, and you see we're thinking that the market is gonna drop from 220, right? Say we're gonna drop from 220 to 219. This is the put side. So what I like to do is always to ask, never to bid. I right click on it, and then I have it add to my watch list. David, that's my watch list, and you can see it automatically moved there. Let's say that we think it's gonna go up from 221 to 2, so I'm sorry, 220 to 221. Then again, as always to ask, this is the call side. Right click, add it to my watch list, which is this is the one we're looking for, 221 calls. Add it to my watch list, and then it adds there. Okay. So when I say in my videos I have 220 calls queued up or 220s queued, this is what I mean. I have it queued up in my watch list. Now, if I have things ready to go, as soon as let's say I want the market to drop from 220 to 219. Well, not want, but I'm thinking that's gonna happen. All I gotta do is click on it and you will see my order book change. Right now is at puts 221. As soon as I click on it, puts 220, right? Or maybe I'm thinking that it's gonna it's gonna go higher. So it's gonna go from 221 to 222. I gotta do is click on it on my watch list and it changed. Calls 221. And so when that happens, all I gotta do is hit buy market. It calculates it for me. You can see the 20 actually me get down. Well, yeah, it's gonna stay right there. As soon as I hit buy, see if I even hover over it before I even press the button, it's showing me what's gonna happen. I get in at 83 cent. Um, it's not well. Let's do that. There we go. Get in at 83 cent. You can see the stop is at 63 cent. And if I scroll up a little bit more, you'll see the two take profits. There we go. You'll see the two take profits. If I go a little higher. Actually, I'm sorry. Did it not save it? It didn't save it. Huh. Let's make that change again because these are off. Hold on. That is 10 cent. All right. Why didn't it change? I don't know. Let's fix it. 20 cent and 20 cent. Want all of those to stay the same. All right. Well, that's weird. It didn't change it. Not sure what just happened. Oh, there we go. I'm not sure what happened, but there we go. All right. So then if again for this example, if I got in at 83 cent and if I just hover over it, you'll see the 93 cent is the first take profit, and then the 103 is the second take profit. Okay. That is it. That's the end of the video. Again, if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to send me a comment on this video. Most of you guys have my other social medias, my Instagram, my Facebook. Um, some of you guys have my number as well. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to shoot me over your questions and I will answer them as soon as I get them. All right, guys. Until next time. Peace. Hope this helps.